This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this will be like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a rating and a brief written review. It will help others to be able to locate this podcast. Please spread the word among your friends and peers to listen to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Today, leader, my two words to you is be generous. Let's talk about what does it take and what goes into producing a generous leader. There are lots of places where we are told the importance of generosity. From the sacred scriptures, we are told whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. And whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. 2 Corinthians chapter 9 in the New Testament of the Bible. Then let's go a whole nother direction and have someone help us with kind of a working definition of what it means to be a generous leader. Albert Camus said that real generosity toward the future consists in giving all to what is present. Meaning that, yes, we are focused on the future and what we want to see done and what we would like to accomplish, the goals, the dreams, the aspirations, where we want to move ourselves, our family, our business, all of our life, our health, finances, our spiritual walk. But to get to the future, you have to start doing things today and being present today. And how often as leaders we are so focused on future achievements and on fulfilling and realizing the goals and the vision of the organization that there's a danger that going through this process we neglect the people who are right here with us right now. Usually when we start talking about generosity, most people automatically, their mind goes to finances. Now, certainly that is a part of being generous, but a generous person doesn't just give their financial resources. They give their time, their presence, they give kindness and actions, and we're going to look at what does it mean to be a generous leader, and what are some things that I can do to begin practicing this and to be an even more generous person and a generous leader. The first thing that I would say is to be generous, we need to give people a sense of importance. It was Ralph Waldo Emerson. This is what he meant when he said, the only gift is the gift of thyself. We have to give ourselves to others, and by doing so, if you give someone your ear to listen to them and to really listen, if you give them your time, oftentimes as your children grow up and they reflect back on growing up in your house, if you're a parent, it's not the money you spent, it's not even the exotic and wonderful vacations that you may have taken them on. It's not even the money you spent for their education, their clothing, and their toys. What they remember most is the time you spent and the things that you did together. If you're the leader of your organization, if you're leading in a business, if you're leading your family, if you're a leader of a small group organization or in your volunteer capacities, we have a tendency not to view ourselves as others see us. Now there's a negative and a positive to that, and the positive is for someone you are larger than life. For someone you are really important. And if you would spend time with them, if you would acknowledge them, if you would listen to them, if you would offer them counsel from your vast experiences of life, you will do more for that person than you can ever imagine. And so a part of being a generous leader is to be a person who gives people this sense of importance, that you really matter. Another way to be a generous leader is to give people feedback. Now notice I didn't use the word criticism. I've always followed the old maxim that you praise publicly and you critique or correct in private. But oftentimes we act as though, as a leader, that you're just doing your job. Why should I credit you for doing what you're paid for? Why should I give you attagirl, attaboy for doing the minimum and what's expected? But people need to hear from us. They really truly are magic words, please and thank you. And also both pro and maybe some correction. People are looking from feedback. So this is something I struggled with at one time. I just sort of was of that mindset that, hey, we're all in this together. We're all working hard. We can't stop, pat everyone on the back for working hard, until I realized that feedback, and in a moment another word that I'll use, is the fuel that keeps things moving forward. And it is an act of generosity not just to thank someone, it's also an act of generosity to say to a person, John, Sally, I noticed this, and you might want to think about going this direction. You might want to think about doing this. Because if we see something that could be very easily corrected and would help that person do something successful, and we hold back on that's not being a very generous person. So don't think that, well, they don't want me to intrude, and I can't be the office know-it-all, and I can't tell my children everything that they need help with. The fact of it is, be generous with feedback, but I'm not saying be generous with criticism and break people's spirit. But a generous person comes alongside and gives both affirmation and also have you thought about. Now, another sign of a generous leader is someone who helps elevate people, lift people up. I kind of think in this stage of my life, I am here on earth to be a talent scout and to help elevate, encourage, and equip the next generation of leaders. And I want to do for others. I want to help other leaders as leaders in my life came alongside and helped me. I want to ask you a question. Who are you more likely to trust and feel a sense of loyalty to? Someone who consistently leaves you with the short end of the stick, makes you feel underappreciated, or someone who consistently goes above and beyond to leave you feeling nurtured, appreciated, and better off than before. Now, in the positions that many of us hold, we do have to do some evaluation, and in that there are some course corrections we need to assist people with. But with all of that being said, find someone to nurture. Find a way to be an encourager, to express appreciation. There are some people that when you've been with them for just a few moments, you feel 10 feet tall. They really elevate you. And a part of our generosity as leaders is we should be lifting people up and elevating them. Another thing that I want to say about being a generous leader is in your generosity, at times it's very appropriate to give anonymously. A lot of people like to give for recognition, for the pat on the back, for the people to realize they have really gone above and beyond. They are an exceedingly and an extremely generous person. When you know that you have the spirit of generosity and you really are a generous person and especially a generous leader, you will have no problem with giving anonymously, because you're not just giving to get credit. You're giving because it's the right thing to do. And when you do right things that are in alignment with your values, your principles, your belief system, just the act of giving, even when you are giving to someone who, as far as you can see, will never have any opportunity to be able to reciprocate to you. A lot of times we're not really being generous, we're just sort of trading things. But when you can give anonymously and you don't care that you get the credit, You don't care if anyone sees it. That's how you know you really are developing your generosity muscle. So try something this week to give something to someone anonymously and don't take credit for it. And you'll see that you are really becoming a generous person, a generous leader. Be generous with your encouragement. I've often come to almost saying that the world needs encouragement. The world is by and large pretty discouraged right now, but nearly all of the time. And if you're a generous person, be generous with your compliments, be generous with your encouragement. I love what John Gordon of the Energy Bus fame said, great leaders don't succeed because they're great. They succeed because they bring out the greatness in others. Have you ever been discouraged or wondering if you were making any difference whatsoever, and at just the right time someone encouraged you? Encouragement is a lot like the same kind of a principle when I was describing giving anonymously. I try to every day, at least 5 days a week, send a quick note, text, private message, some way. I try to encourage someone just to say, hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for your influence in my life. Hey, I was prayed for you today. I thank you for your friendship. And I just sort of pick them kind of randomly. And what I have discovered is if I never hear back from them or not, there is something about writing the note that brings encouragement and gratitude and good feelings to my own heart. I wish I could count the times when I have received a note back from someone who said, how in the world did you know what I was going through? This was surely a God moment. Here's what was happening in my life. Well, here's what I have discovered. All people, everyone, needs encouragement. And if there's an area, leader, where we can sow generously, I think it's in the area of encouragement. I would say to you, whether it's one person, 5 people a week, whatever you think you can do, find a way to be an encourager. I want you to know there are no job applications out for discouragers. Those jobs are already taken. But if you want to make your job encouragement and you want to encourage people, as my grandmother told me years ago, you'll never be unemployed if your job is to encourage people. Everyone needs encouragement. Another item in the area of how to be a generous person and a generous leader is give opportunities. Someone back there took a chance on me. I don't know what they saw. I'm not sure I would have seen it if I had been in their position. But some group, some person, some organization, your spouse, your foreman at work, your direct report, your pastor, your neighbor, someone someday looked at you, saw what you were doing, saw how you were doing it, and they believed enough in you to give you an opportunity. This is another thing I've dedicated the rest of my life to. How can I plug people in and help pass along opportunities to others? Because I was too given an opportunity. And as the opposite of generosity is hoarding. Don't hoard all the opportunities. Be generous and pass them along. Look for ways that you can open doors for someone, and you can be the person who says to a young lady, young man, I've watched your work, I've watched your character, I believe in you, and I believe you deserve this opportunity. And in any way you can, through networking, find a way to be generous in promoting people for opportunities. The last one that I want to state is be generous in your standing up for the people in your organization, obviously your family, the customers as well. Stand up for people. Unfortunately, oftentimes we think the bottom line is the finances or how much of a product we sell, The bottom line is you are where you are today, my leadership friend, to help people. Now, as I've mentioned, people think of generosity in terms solely of money, but it really is defined differently in the dictionary. It is defined as the quality of being kind, understanding, and not selfish, the willingness to give valuable things to others. This is how we are to operate as generous people who stand up for other people and do all that we can to help other people succeed. You want to succeed? Help enough other people succeed, and it's just literally inevitable. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this has been like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. Remember, my leadership friend, you are doing better than you think you are. You really are. Go and live a generous day. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying have a great and blessed day.